This is Triumph's bobber, originally released in 2017 and then updated in 2021. This is a 2021 model. And the style of the bobber harks back to the 1940s, which is a time when guys would take a standard model bike and they would cut bits off and chop it about and stuff like that, all in the quest of more speed. This is based on the Bonneville T120, and the main differences from front to rear would be things like a 150 section front tyre on a 16-inch wheel, and then obviously the rear end, all chopped away, single seat conversion, no swing arm, no conventional swing arm, and it looks like it's got a rigid rear end, but in actual fact it's got what's called a swing cage. So what Triumph do is they make a tubular cage at the back. It pivots from the bottom like a swing arm would, but it's got a monoshock hidden underneath the seat to give the impression of a rigid rear end. I think it looks pretty cool. Suspension is by Showa up front, 47mm front forks, and an unbranded monoshock at the rear. And I've had no issues with it. I think it rides really nicely. As you can see, the weather's pretty poor. It's barely above zero at the moment, and raining, or it has been raining anyway. It's wet, so I haven't been able to exploit the bike. But in the time I've had it, and the roads are in a terrible state as well, potholes and ripped up surfaces everywhere, it's been perfect. It's been really good. In fact, I would say it's suspended really well for my size and weight, athletic build. Yeah, I've had no issues. There are plenty of upgrades should you want to. There's a big aftermarket scene for these bobbers anyway, and I guess that's part of the ownership. It's personalization. It's 251 kilos wet, and because of the way the bobber is styled, with a low seat, when I say low, it's 690mm, so very low seat. Slightly adjustable, it can go 690 to 700, but either way, it's easy to flat foot in traffic. So because the seat is so low and it carries its weight nice and low, it's a really well balanced bike. The dash is an exercise in simplicity. I think other manufacturers could learn a thing or two from this. You have one instrument binnacle, just one clock in the middle, with an analog speeder around the outside and an LCD screen at the bottom, which tells you, you can scroll through with a button on your left bar here. You scroll through some information, so you can see the engine revs if you want. You can see your instant fuel consumption. You can see, it's got a trip computer, so you see your trip, you can see your mileage, that kind of stuff. You can see whether traction control is on. And along the sides of this little LCD screen, you have a fuel gauge, and your displays what rider mode you're in, but we'll come back to that in a minute. In terms of electronics, we keep it pretty simple. We have traction control, switchable traction control, ABS as standard, cruise control, which is nice, and a couple of rider modes. You have rain and road, and then that's your lot. Keep it nice and simple. You don't need much more than that on a bike like this. Being based on the Bonneville T120, it has the same 1200cc parallel twin with a 270-degree firing order, which is, everyone's using this at the moment for good reason. It's a compact unit, sounds great, makes good power. For me, the engine is one of the best things about the bike. I love it. Makes 77 horsepower and 106 newton meters of torque, which is slightly down on the Bonneville that it's based on. A couple of horsepower down and one newton meter, but it's still plenty to have fun on. And on this style of bike, I think it's more than enough. It's great. When you're on full chat, it's got a lovely bark to it, and then when you throttle off, nice little bit of popping and stuff as you come down through the revs. It's lovely. I don't know how Triumph do it, but I'm glad they do. Now, I've really enjoyed my time with the bobber. For me, the jewel in the crown is that 1200cc parallel twin engine. I love it. I think it's got so much character, bags of character, and I like the way it rides. I mean, it doesn't make mega power, but it's lovely, and it feels fast enough, nice and punchy. Sounds great with these exhausts on it, but I like the style of the bike as well. I like the cut down rear end and the faux hardtail and single seat and all that kind of stuff. I think it just looks wicked. Like that 1940s styling really works for me.